Welcome back to the Natasha Effect. It's a special Monday because today we're actually wrapping up our Reading Between the Lines series on the 48 Laws of Power. So if you've been listening from the beginning, you know that this wasn't just about studying a book or a read along or something like that. It was about translating ancient strategy into modern energy. Power in your posture, power in your patience, power in how you respond to everyday life. So these final laws bring everything kind of full circle. They're about transformation, adaptability, and moving fluidly so that you can't really be boxed in. So let's finish strong and step into the last 4 laws and close this chapter in the true Natasha Effect fashion: confident, aware, and untouchable. So Law 45, starting off strong, says, preach the need for change, but never reform too much at once. Everyone understands the need for change in the abstract, but on the day-to-day level, people are creatures of habit. Too much innovation is traumatic and will lead to revolt. This one is all about leadership, influence, like leadership to vision and to patience. See, honestly, everyone loves the idea of change. Everyone wants to complain, but no one wants to go through the process. When you introduce something new, a new concept, a new boundary, a new business, a new mindset, you're disrupting comfort because it's uncomfortable to change. And that is where resistance shows up, or the revolt that I spoke on earlier. So the power move here isn't to force the change, it's truly to guide it. You plant the seeds of evolution slowly, consistently, and strategically. And true transformation, it's not about breaking everything down at once. It's really just about making it impossible for shit to keep operating the same. So when you're leading people or even leading your own life, trust the process and just you have to realize that the process is where the change is going to happen. It's a rhythm, not a revolution. And speaking of rhythm, that will bring us right to Law 46, because as you grow and change, how you carry that growth over matters. Law 46, never appear too perfect. Appearing better than others is dangerous. The most enviable quality is to appear approachable, human, and relatable. Envy creates silent enemies. Honestly, this one's about humility. Because perfection, or at least the illusion of it, it breeds distance and disdain. People admire it from afar, but they don't really connect to it. So when you show your humanity, your learning moments, the small losses, the transparency, you give others permission to breathe. And in that, you gain trust. I do it with my podcast interviews all the time. I don't edit and I don't trim the reels and I don't just show the highlights. Like, we talk about real, raw truths. And that's why other people need to be able to see that you're relatable. They need to see that anyone can get there, anyone can do it, instead of just always seeing the highs all the time. We all have lows. They're just not talked about. But anyway, this law it's not saying dim your light or anything like that. It's just saying balance it. Be aspirational. Oh my gosh, I sounded like my husband there. Be aspirational. Yikes. But relatable. Show everything you've achieved, but don't forget the story about how you got there. Because the most magnetic people, they're not flawless. They're real. And when your power feels human, that's when you become unstoppable. Relatability is key. So now once you've found that balance, you'll start to attract all kinds of energy. And that is where Law 47 comes in, which says, do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, you learn where to stop. The moment of victory is the moment of greatest peril. And this one always lands. Because when things are finally working, when momentum builds, when success starts stacking and things are looking up, it's tempting to keep pushing the envelope and keep pushing the line. But you also have to know your restraints. Power lies in restraint. Knowing when to stop is what separates powerful from the reckless. You have to sense when the mission is complete, when more effort won't add value. It's just only going to dilute everything that you've done, everything you've accomplished. And sometimes the most strategic move is to just pause, to let the work that you've done speak for you, to walk away while the applause is still loud, not when the crowd gets tired of applauding you. Because true power doesn't crave attention. People are powerful because they have longevity. And that perfectly sets the stage for our final law, the ultimate level of power, which is Law 48, and that is assume formlessness. By taking a shape, by having a visible plan, you open yourself to attack. Instead, be adaptable and fluid like water. Never bet on stability or lasting order. This law is the evolution of all the others. Once you've mastered self-awareness, timing, restraint, energy, influence, power, the final step is fluidity. Formlessness means that you can't be boxed in. You have no shape. You can flow through chaos without losing yourself, and you can change direction without losing your purpose. Essentially pivot. You have the ability to be resilient, to adapt, and to pivot. It reminds me of something that I think Bruce Lee said, be water. Water can crash or, it can flow. It adapts to any container it's poured into, but it never loses its essence. It's water. And that's the energy that I want you to leave this series with. Be water. Stop trying to fit the shape that the world expects you to be in. Move like water. Be confident, be calm, be ever evolving, be able to exist in any state. And that's it. That is laws 45 through 48 and the final chapter of our reading between the lines, or final episode, I should say, of the series. We have journeyed through every layer of power with this book, from image to influence, emotion to execution. And if you've been listening, like really listening, then you know this book is not about manipulation. It truly is about strategy and mastery. Mastery of self, mastery of presence, and mastery of your reactions and your own reality. Because once you understand how power moves, you stop getting played by the game, and now you're running the game. You're designing it. So here's my final thought as we close out this series. You are both the strategy and the spectacle, the soft and the sharp, the energy and the equilibrium. So be aware of how you move, but never apologize for moving differently. Because your power doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from commanding and controlling yourself. If this series or any episode in this series shifted you, changed a perspective, or anything like that, share it, tag the Natasha Effect, tag a friend, send it to someone who is upping their game, or maybe re-listen to it from the beginning and see how much more it all makes sense now that you've evolved. And remember, the goal was never to just read the 48 laws of power. It was to help you embody them, help you understand them, and help you utilize and implement them. Gracefully, but powerfully. So until next time, stay grounded, stay graceful, and remember, you don't chase power, you become it. Bye!